Good morning, Stampers. This is Sissy with StampinWithSissy.net. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and a lot of my clients have been asking me to do some masculine cards for the special men in their lives, and I thought this Country Road stamp set would be the perfect stamp set to make a masculine card. Also, a great card for a country gal. So it's very versatile. It simply says happy birthday. And you open it up and it says nothing's better than the wind on your back, the sun on your face, and family by your side. So let's get started. Before we get started, I want to show you this beautiful Wood Textures Designer Series paper. It's a 6x6 size, and it has designs on both sides, like all of their Designer Series paper, and it is so beautiful and so versatile. I'm a city gal, and I like a lot of bling, but I have gone through 2 packs of this paper because it's so versatile. I use it on so many different things, and I don't know if you can tell, but it's the background on the card. Let's get started. I always use my Stamparatus from Stampin' Up! When I'm stamping. It saves me so much grief. You can see here that I have already broken, well, I've probably broken 3 or 4 magnets. If you get them too close to each other, they will snap together and break. And they're sharp, and you can cut yourself and bleed on your card, and it's not pretty. I'm going to start, let me get this card back in here. I'm going to start with the wheel because I want to get a feel for where that's going to be. I want the grasses to come a little bit further over this way. I thought it would look better if the grasses were behind the horse. So let's see how that works. I use my Stamparatus every time I stamp. It has saved me so much grief by my being able to stamp over and over and over to get the perfect image. Because these stamps are what we call clear, even though you can't see through them, I am going to take the pad that comes with the Stamparatus out, because I don't need that because it's thicker than the photopolymer. I'm going to put this paper down here so I don't get ink all over the tray. Pick up my broken magnet. Please be careful with your magnets. If that does happen to you, Stampin' Up! Sells magnets separately so you can replace them easily. I'm using Early Espresso for my wheel. I like to put the stamp package underneath my Stamparatus slide thing, whatever you call it, to make it level so that I don't get ink all over when I'm inking it up. Let's see how that turned out. Oh, way too light. Isn't this awesome? If I didn't have this Stamparatus, I would be turning my paper over and starting over again. I still want it to be darker. Oh, that's what I want. And don't worry about these white spaces in between. That is the way the stamp is made. You can see here to look old and kind of rusty. Now that I'm not stamping off the page, I can put my paper up in the corner, which is where I prefer to put it. Place my magnets, and then the grass is going to start. You know what? I think I want it to start off the page. So let's grab our paper again. You could probably stamp it on this and then just wipe it away, but it'd probably make a mess. For the grasses, I'm using Crumb Cake, one of my very favorite inks. I totally forgot that I wanted to show you how cool this Stamparatus is when you're making using the same stamp over and over again. So I've turned my paper this way. Duh. I did this on the other card too. I thought, why didn't I use the hinges? It's just new to me. All right. So let me show you how cool this is. have to add extra pressure when you're stamping close to the hinges, because it's hard to get this bottom part down. So now I'm going to just slide it down, ink it up. Start with the pressure down here. Isn't that cool? Slide it down one more time. I just love all the cool toys. Well, no, not toys, tools Stampin' Up! Offers to make stamping so easy, so fun. And you can see I caught an edge there, darn it. I wish I'd watched out for that. Let's see if we can erase it. I don't usually show all my mistakes while I'm videoing. I fix them while I'm off air. But I'm sure I'm not the only one who does this. So I have this little mono eraser. It's kind of like sandpaper. And when your image isn't very dark, you can just use this eraser. And it doesn't always get it all the way off, but at least it fades it a little bit, so it's not quite so noticeable. There, that's not so bad. These, again, mono sand eraser. I got mine on Amazon. I'm sorry Stampin' Up! Doesn't have them, but they're easy to find, probably in the craft stores too. Okay, now bring back my Stamparatus, and we'll do the horse. I heat embossed my horse because I wanted it to look metallic, and besides I love heat embossing, so any opportunity. I'm going to go ahead and just stamp this right over the grasses using my black tuxedo memento. That is definitely not straight. The cool thing about these, I don't know if you can see these grids in the lid here. I don't know what you call these, so let's just call them lids, plates, I don't know. But it has these grids, and I want the line here on the horse, the base of the horse, to be kind of straight. So there we go. Take my black memento. Again, this image of the horse is shaded too. And I want it to be really black. Although it looks cool and weathered when it's not really solid, so personal choice. One more time. Then I'll stamp it with my Versamark and heat emboss it. That looks good. When you are inking your stamp, if you get ink on your plate, just wipe it off quickly. I mean, not immediately so much, but before it dries, because they do get a little bit stained. Now we'll use the Versamark. And set this aside now. This is a bucket of clear embossing powder that I'm just going to sprinkle, which I forgot to use my embossing buddy. I highly recommend it, but I oftentimes forget it. that looks pretty good. You don't want to overheat it. If you overheat it, it'll just go flat and dull. You can re-emboss it if you want to, but it's easier just to do it right the first time. Okay, I've already adhered my wood textures paper onto my card base, and I've done the inside as well. First, I want to do the sentiment before we attach that. I've already stamped and heat embossed the happy birthday, because you've seen me do that once. For the circle, I used the Layering Circles Thinlits to cut the circle. I could have used a punch, but I really like the dimension you get when you use the Thinlits. I also used the Pinewood Planks embossing folder on this little circle just to give it some dimension. I just think dimension is the bomb. I'm going to punch out my sentiment using the classic label punch. I just slide this in here, have it upside down so I can see where it is. And that looks pretty good. So, a little bit lower. There we go. I have some mini glue dots here that I get in my paper pumpkin, and they always give you more than you need, so I've never had to buy them. And I'm going to use my new tool to put the sentiment onto the circle. Comes in so handy. Then place the happy birthday kind of in the middle. And it's going to have to come down. Get my Stampin' Dimensionals out and use a couple here. You know, I think some twine might look good too, so let's get some basic black twine out and wrap it around a couple of times. I don't know what it is about twine. It just feels country. So wrap it around a couple of times and then tie a little bow. Put our sentiment right about here. Then I pop this up on dimensionals because I love dimensionals. You can get all the details, the measurements, the supplies on my website at www.stampinwithsissy.net. All right. These dimensionals are very strong, so you don't want to put any pressure on it until you have it exactly where you want it, which is sometimes not easy to do. Come on. All right, and there it is. I think that I do like the twine better. It just needed something. On the first card, I also used a shimmer white paper. You can see that, well, it's the glossy white paper, sorry. But it takes longer to dry, and it was smearing a lot, and it was a little bit frustrating. And I thought, well, I don't know why I need glossy paper if it's a masculine card. Why not just do it on regular Whisper White? And so that's what I did with this. Personal preference, whichever one you like best, but I think I do like the twine on the second card. So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed my video today and will come back and join me again soon. Thanks for watching. Bye now.